On today's show, ahead of the holiday season, the Clippers face a daunting 3-game road trip going down south a bit to Dallas and Memphis. What are the keys to getting some wins in those games and not going 0 for 3? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and in my 20th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what your prediction is for these 3 games on the road, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. And this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets for any event. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And Locked On Clippers now has a newsletter, the Locked On Clippers Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new, free Locked On Clippers newsletter. All right, in this episode, going to be talking about the 3 big games we have. I'm going to be revisiting the Kevin Porter Jr. conversation yet again, because it just seems to be a hot topic every single time we have any break between games or just any game we play. And then why I believe through the first 30 games the job has been done. Now, let's begin with these couple of games. Now, your Clippers recently were on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Denver Nuggets, the Houston Rockets, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just got their most commanding win of the season against the Utah Jazz by a margin of 37 points, 144-107. If you haven't checked out the post-game episode on that, it is now out on this channel or on this podcast if you're listening on audio. 15-12 through 27 games right now for us. But these 3 games will be really hard. I'm not going to go as far as to say these are must-wins. I'm not going to go as far as to say that even one of them is a must-win. I'm not even going to say that they're make or break for us. Because right now, for being real, these are what I consider the dog days of the NBA season. We've gotten past that point where everyone's starting to see what these teams look like, and there's no more new novelty. Like, everyone's starting to be used to the fact that Klay Thompson's on the Mavs now and how he fits with that team, and Karl Anthony Towns on the Knicks now and how he fits with that team, and of course, more importantly, Derrick Jones Jr., who would be making his return in these games. I don't think he's going to be able to play. They said he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. That was about a week ago. So it's going to be another week. I don't see him coming back till maybe the game against Golden State on the 27th. So no return for Derrick Jones Jr. this season going back to Dallas. But I was making the joke that those new additions have integrated with the Clippers, and we see how they're going to be. So that's why they added the in-season tournament to, spruce up these kinds of weeks of the season right here. Between we see what everybody is, and the All-Star break. So these games, I'm also not saying they're not important, but we don't need to kill ourselves if we lose them. I think it's a good test, though. I think it's an absolutely great test. 2 games at Dallas is very difficult. Dallas is one of the best teams in the league. They're 17-9 right now. They had a stretch where they won 7 games in a row. And I watched the 7th win of those against the Toronto Raptors the night I was on Locked On NBA. If you haven't checked out my appearance on Locked On NBA, you should go check it out. But they won 125-118. Luka Doncic had a 30-point triple-double. And then they lost at OKC. That was in the in-season tournament quarterfinals. Had a little break after that. Their most recent game, they won in Golden State by 10 points in a very high-scoring game, where they won 143 to 133. The last game I watched of them was a little over a week ago, was that Toronto game. But winning at Golden State by 10, Luka Doncic had a 45-point triple-double. So it's safe to say that he's back and in business. Now, how do we guard Luka? So in previous years, we've had Terrence Mann do it. And last year in the playoffs, Terrence Mann did a spectacular job. Now, of course, I do remember that Luka was injured and he was missing a lot of shots that he usually makes. But from our side of things, Terrence Mann was doing a good job. Now, who should guard him this season? My go-to would have been Derrick Jones Jr. because he spent the whole year with him. But since he's not going to play, and we're going to probably start a starting lineup of Amir Coffey, Zubac, Norm, James, and Chris Dunn, I would say Amir Coffey on Luka. And then when Nico comes in, you put Nico on Luka, and then Chris Dunn on Kyrie. And how satisfying does it feel to be able to say that we have someone like Chris Dunn to guard Kyrie Irving? Because last year in our series against them, Kyrie Irving was the guy that gave us more problems, not Luka Doncic, because of the amazing job that Terrence Mann did on Luka. And of course, he was cold. Kyrie was just so quick. We didn't have that guy to stay in front of him, that guy to deter him at all. He was able to get really good shots every single time he was running pick and rolls. You know, he was just coming off screens and getting into whatever he wanted to. Now, you know they're going to try to target James Harden on Thursday. They are going to do it because that's what the teams like the Mavericks do. They mismatch hunt. Luka will target you in pick and roll. If it's a Zubac, there used to be a whole thing that he would get taken apart by Luka, you know, in the playoffs in 2021 in the pick and roll because he was a quote-unquote drop coverage merchant. But we're starting to see that this season he's been able to hedge on screens at times, come out to the perimeter. But even if we are in drop coverage, our point of attack defense is just so much better than it was before. So it's okay. However, Rudy Gobert, probably the best drop coverage defender in the last 5 to 10 years, he led the best defense in the NBA last year. And that was the Minnesota Timberwolves defense. But Luka and Kyrie are so good at keeping defenders on their hip, snaking pick and rolls, keeping defenders in jail, and getting the shots off that they want from anywhere on the floor, that it didn't matter what point of attack guy, whether it was Jaden McDaniels or Nickeil Alexander-Walker was on them with Rudy Gobert behind, they got their shots off, and there was nothing they could do about it. Last year in our series, Luka Doncic did actually end up scoring more points than Kyrie. He averaged 30 points a game against us. It's funny that a bad series for Luka Doncic is still 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. I mean, the guy is just ridiculous. Kyrie Irving averaged 26.5 points a game to go along with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. So still amazing stats for him. It's the efficiency difference that was major. Luka shot 40.5% from the field. Kyrie shot 51% from the field. And then Luka shot just a putrid 24% from 3 and took 67 attempts in those 6 games. So that's an average of over 10 3-point attempts a game. Kyrie, on the other hand, 45%. So I overall think Kyrie was better in the series, but they're both extremely tough customers and difficult to guard. But it's going to be really nice having Chris Dunn for the likes of Kyrie Irving and Ja Morant when we play against the Memphis Grizzlies, who've been playing really good basketball themselves. But I'm going to definitely dedicate this episode a little bit more to Dallas because we have 2 straight games against them. But the point is, it's a great test, right? These are 3 big games, big in the sense that they're good matchups. And it's a great bar to see where we are. Now, of course, we don't have Derrick Jones Jr., we don't have Terrence Mann. That's going to hurt us a lot. We're going to have probably one of Chris Dunn or Amir Coffey or Nico Batum in the game at all times. I don't see a situation where we should have all 3 of those guys on the bench because then who's going to end up guarding? You know, you don't want James Harden, Norman Powell, and Kevin Porter Jr. guarding the best players on other teams, and Bones Highland, whoever it might be, or Jordan Miller even. So definitely need to keep one of Nico, Chris Dunn, and Amir Coffey in at all times. And maybe even 2 of them. I don't even know if I just trust Amir Coffey with no other good, solid defenders around him against these kinds of teams. But coming up, going to be speaking about the rotation that I want to see in these games and opening up the can of worms that is the KPJ convo once more. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Toggling the all-in pricing feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkouts. Because these ticket websites, when they put on the ad fees and taxes, your ticket is way more expensive than you probably once thought. And with the Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. I got to tell you a little something about Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about that you were paying for twice? Did you look at your bank statement and say, what is this subscription I'm getting charged for? Well, that definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, Clippers on the road for 3 big ones against the Dallas Mavericks twice and the Memphis Grizzlies. And what rotation do I think they should play in those games? Well, in our most recent win against the Utah Jazz, we began with a starting lineup of Ivica, Zubac, James Harden, Norman Powell, Chris Dunn, and replacing Derrick Jones Jr. in that starting lineup was Amir Coffey. I believe we'll be doing the same thing against Dallas. Remember, PJ Washington, he'll probably be guarded by James Harden to start the game, and then you'll have Amir Coffey guarding. No, Amir Coffey will actually be on Luka. So you'll have Norman Powell guarding Klay Thompson, which is perfect. Now, who should we target on their side? Who's James Harden going to target? I think Klay Thompson. Let's see if old Klay Thompson can stay in front of James Harden. And of course, Luka Doncic. Can he guard? You know what I'm saying? By the way, I've been hearing a little bit about the Mavs having Luka play a little more off the ball this season. I've always said he needs to do that if he wants to win a chip, but I haven't locked in on the Mavs offense so far this season. So I'm interested to see how that looks when we play against them. But James Harden definitely targeting Luka. And remember, he had a lot of success at times targeting Luka last season. Game 1, Game 4, the 2 games that James Harden just went off, he targeted Luka and took advantage of him. And of course, James Harden was our leading scorer in that playoff series last year with a 21-point average to go along with 4.5 rebounds and 8 assists. He shot 45% from the field, 38% from 3, and 91% from the line. Now, Ivica Zubac, he also had a very good series against them. 16 points, 9 rebounds on 60% shooting. He needs to be aggressive against these guys. Even against the likes of Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford, he's a good shot blocker, but he wasn't doing anything on Zoo one-on-one last year. So we got to really feed Zoo. Make Daniel Gafford guard. But as far as the KPJ convo, let's talk. Oh, the bench, I should say. Let me address that first. So Nicholas Batum is a non-negotiable. He should come off the bench. Mo Bamba. Then right now, Jordan Miller as well, I'd say. That's an 8-man rotation. Then you have KPJ and Bones. Kobe Brown is still out. So essentially, you're going pretty small with a little 2-guard set off the bench. And I haven't been too big of a fan of the way that KPJ Bones Highland minutes have looked. It feels very redundant. They're very similar players in the sense that they're, guys that can create off the bounce. They're not very efficient. They're young players that dribble the ball a lot and definitely look like they want to put somebody on a highlight reel. But are they rotation players for teams with aspirations to go past the first or second round? That we're still not sure of. Now, Kevin Porter Jr., in the last game, he shot 1 for 8 from the field. I had fans behind me groaning every time he'd take more than 3 dribbles. Look, I'm going to honestly look at his game log and tell you how many games off the top of my head that we won that I felt he played well in. The one against Philly that we beat Paul George, I thought he was good. He had 11 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists on 5 for 11 shooting. Against the Sacramento Kings when we beat them at home, I thought he was okay as well. I said okay, so maybe that doesn't mean good. But let's just say he was good because he had 14 points in a 16-point win. Shot 44%. We'll take it. I also thought he was good in the Orlando win. 10 points, 4 boards, 6 assists in 20 minutes. Then there was the at Sacramento game and against Toronto. I thought he was good in those games. But then besides that, I don't think he's been that great in any other game. So that's 5 games that I think he's been good in, that we've won. 5 games. And yes, you can have good games in a loss, but that doesn't really matter to me. 9.5 points a game he's averaging, to go along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. So at least he's, checking in some of those other categories. But it's a career low for him, which is a given that he's playing for an actual team with aspirations to do something. He's shooting 41% from the field, so he's gotten that average up. And he's shooting 21% from 3. He's averaging 2 turnovers a game. Honestly, I just think Bones Highland is worth a shot at this point. I've held it for a while, and I've said, you know what, he doesn't deserve to get a spot pulled. But I honestly think it would be time to give Bones Highland a shot. Now, granted, this is not going to be the game where we do that because unless you want to go 9 deep, which I wouldn't be totally opposed to because defensively we'd be a lot stronger. But we might need some scoring punch. Even though Derrick Jones Jr. and Terrence Mann aren't necessarily scorers, we might need some scoring punch. My thing is, I believe Bones Highland is worth a chance, is what I believe at this point, to see if he's going to be any better. If he's not, go right back to KPJ. But I do believe this is the time. I've seen enough. I honestly know what KPJ is at this point. He is a guy that has a solid mid-range when he can get to that distance and create space, which is not all the time. He doesn't frequently create a ton of space. He has a nice stop-start, change of pace. But he just doesn't consistently create enough separation to justify some of the shots that he's missing. And he has tunnel vision a lot of the time. He's not a horrible passer. His defense has been better than I expected, actually. But every time he gets the ball, though, the ball stops. It's moving. It just sticks in his hands. And we already have James Harden doing that, but at the end of the possession, he's usually getting good shots. So we need the other guys moving the ball and working quickly. Bones Highland, he might have some of the similar problems, but I think he'll add more pace. And if we can get Bones Highland feeling confident, not only will he have those 3-point flurries, hopefully he'll get in the paint more. But coming up, I'm going to speak about why I believe that through 30 games, the job's been done by our squad. Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. This week, we've got the Chargers and the Broncos on Thursday Night Football at SoFi. Chargers are -2.5. The Rams are -3. So that line changed overnight. When I talked about it on yesterday's show, it was the Chargers -3 over Denver. Now it's just -2.5. The Rams are still -3 at New York on Sunday. And where can you go for all these betting needs? FanDuel.com. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I got to tell you a little something about Built. Today's episode is sponsored by Built Rewards. If you're a renter, listen up. This is a total game changer. Thanks to Built, you can now earn points on rent payments just like you do with groceries or travel. Paying rent now comes with serious perks, and it's completely free to join. Earn valuable Built points on your rent and everyday spending at no extra cost. Redeem points for flights, hotel stays, and even future rent payments. With over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels in their program, the possibilities are endless. Access unique experiences that are exclusive to Built members. Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. And Built, by the way, is spelled B-I-L-T. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Start earning rewards today. All right, so the Clippers on the road. Dallas, and Memphis the next 3 games. I think they should try Bones Highland in the rotation, but right now it doesn't matter because we are playing a 10-man rotation and we're injured, so you can play them both together. But when Derrick Jones Jr. or Terrence comes back, I would like to see KPJ drop to the 3rd unit to see how it goes. Just my opinion. Let me know if you agree or not. Now, let's say in the worst case scenario, first of all, if we win these 3 games, we mean serious business. That would put us at 18-12, which would be insane through 30 games. Let's say we win 2 out of 3. 17-13 through 30 games. Insane. Let's say we win 1, which is maybe the most likely outcome. 16-14, that's a huge win through 30 games as well. Let's say we lose all 3. 15-15. If you're telling me before the season we don't have Kawhi for 30 games and we go 15-15, I'd say that is a huge win. Everybody on the team deserves tons of credit. James Harden should be an all-star, no questions asked. And I believe all those things. So that's why I'm saying the job's been done. Can we get Kawhi Leonard on this trip? We still haven't heard the news if he's traveling with the team. That would be insane. Because that would mean that he'll be playing against that in that Warriors game. So by the way, Clipper Nation, I would try to buy tickets to that Warriors game right now. Because if Kawhi if it's announced that he's going to play, that price is going to skyrocket. And it's already expensive. So I would say go for it now. But do I believe he'll be back on this road trip? No. Because I think the team will be saying, look, let's just be a little cautious. Don't need him to travel. We'll play him at home. Or when he's a little bit more ready. Even if we're 15-15 through 30 games, we have done an amazing job. We've killed it. Ivica Zubac has been awesome. Norman Powell's been an all-star level player. James Harden, he's been an all-star level player. And if he gets robbed from the all-star team this year, I think that would be a complete travesty. Of course, in 2023, he had a great case. Last year, he had a very solid case, but I wasn't too mad at him not making it because we already had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard making it. But this year, to have this team where we are, it's really James Harden offensively has been carrying that load. And the fact that he's only missed 1 game, that's been huge. Amir Coffey only missed 1 game. Ivica Zubac not missed a game. Norman Powell has missed 7 games, but not too bad. Nicholas Batum hasn't missed a game. Chris Dunn hasn't missed a game. This all matters. Norman Powell is averaging 23.5 points a game right now. 23.5. And James Harden's averaging 22. So I said before the season James Harden would average 20 and 9, but that was with the assumption Kawhi was healthy. So if he wasn't, this is exactly what I thought it would be around. 22 and 8. Right on the dot. It's great to see. But anyway, You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a video of my experience with the Utah game is out. Talk to some fans. They talked about the KPJ convo, the James Harden, the way he's done so far, and the Kawhi bobblehead giveaway. It was a great video. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what you think of the episode. Predict these next 3 games. Let me know what you think of the Bones Highland KPJ conversation. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. I see the subscriber count going up, 6.33 thousand right now. Let's keep on pushing to 7,000 because we haven't passed another Locked On NBA channel in a while. So once we get to 7,000, we'll be passing those guys up and showing them that Clipper Nation is one of the most loyal fan bases, if not the most loyal, in basketball. And by the way, to all those people that I see at the games that wave to me when I'm doing the interviews, by all means, even if you're not in a rush, come up and get an interview. Come say hi. Even if you don't want an interview, I'd love to meet you. I love meeting the fans of the show, the people that listen to me every day, because those are the people that I want to, hear feedback from and find out ways I can make this show better. So never be shy. Never think you're bothering me. I always love talking to the fans. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers. Have a happy hump day, everybody.